before he turned 13, he never even touched a basketball. But somehow, he ended up making the NBA. 12 years and many records later, Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the best basketball players ever.
It can be done. 8 years ago, I didn't know where my next move will come from. And now I'm here, sitting in the top of the top.
In this video, we'll analyze the basketball abilities of the Greek Freak and tell you the unlikely story of how a homeless kid from Greece became one of the biggest NBA stars of all time.
But he is the basketball.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Giannis's parents, Charles and Veronica Antetokounmpo, immigrated to Athens, Greece in 1991. This is where Giannis and 3 of his brothers were born. Growing up, Giannis and his family were not financially well off.
We didn't have a lot of money, but we had a lot of happiness. So we wasn't broken happiness-wise. You know, when we were struggling back in the day, we were all together in one room, same room. We were having fun, we were smiling.
While his parents worked hard to make ends meet, the family was in constant financial struggles. They were evicted from multiple small apartments and went to sleep hungry almost every night. When Giannis was just 6 years old, he decided to try and help the family out by selling stuff on the street with his brothers, the Nasses.
What were you selling?
We used to sell glasses, watches, then we used to sell CDs, DVDs.
You must be a pretty good salesman.
I was the best.
But on top of the financial struggles, Giannis and his family were treated like outsiders in Greece. No member of the Antetokounmpo family had Greek citizenship because of the country's strict laws. And as immigrants, they faced daily hate. On many occasions, Giannis was told to go back to Africa, and even worse, he constantly feared for his life. You see, in the early 2000s, immigrants were increasingly blamed for Greece's financial collapse, and members of a far-right criminal organization called the Golden Dawn began attacking immigrants in the streets. Because of this, Giannis and his little brother Alex would race home from school every day. They did this because they were fearful of what would happen if they were spotted near the Golden Dawn headquarters. Amidst their constant struggles, Giannis and his brothers found an outlet through sports. At first, Giannis dreamed of becoming a pro soccer player. His dad played soccer professionally, so he wanted to follow in his footsteps.
I used to play soccer when I was younger. My dad used to be a soccer player. Loved soccer. I wanted to play soccer. I didn't want to play basketball growing up.
But when Giannis was 13, this would change, because a basketball coach noticed his size and athleticism and asked him to join his team. At first, Giannis wasn't interested. Like he said, he didn't even like basketball. But when the coach offered him money to play, Giannis realized he couldn't pass up the opportunity and decided to give it a shot. Soon after Giannis started playing, his brothers Thanasis, Alex, and Kostas also decided to give the sport a try. And just 3 years after starting their basketball career, Giannis and his brother Thanasis would sign a professional contract to play for Filathlitikos, a pro team in Greece. But Giannis's pro career didn't start like most future NBA legends. He started as a ball boy. Yes, I'm serious. While Giannis started out by cleaning the floor, he worked his way up for Filathlitikos, and just a couple years later, he was on the roster for their senior team, alongside his brother. Giannis and Thanasis were now on a pro team, but they weren't making big money by any means. Their salary was only $500 a month. It was so rough for the Antetokounmpo brothers that they actually had to share a pair of shoes one game, swapping the shoes as they subbed in and out for each other. Giannis and Thanasis helped promote Filathlitikos to the A2 division in Greece prior to the 2012-2013 season. And while going into this year, Giannis was just 17 years old. He was a key contributor for the team. Throughout the season, he put up solid numbers, averaging 9.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.4 assists per game. He helped lead the team to a 21-5 record and gained big interest from NBA scouts along the way. In Giannis' last game during this season, he had the chance to elevate Filathlitikos to the top division in Greece, but they lost a heartbreaker in double overtime. It was a difficult loss for Giannis, but he didn't have any time to hang his head, as he had an upcoming NBA draft to prepare for. Prior to the 2013 NBA draft, Giannis opted to not participate in the draft combine. This made it very difficult for NBA teams to grade him, as he was playing in the Pro 2 division in Greece. However, many scouts fell in love with Giannis' body. At the time of the draft, he was 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan and huge hands. Giannis really just wanted a chance to prove himself.
I want to be an NBA player. I like Magic Johnson and Kevin Durant.
Before the draft, Giannis was projected to be selected in the middle of the first round, and compared to NBA role player Nicholas Batum, this was not a strong draft class, with Anthony Bennett being selected number 1 overall. So Giannis being projected to get picked outside of the lottery showed that scouts weren't sold on his potential. But one team fell in love with him, the Atlanta Hawks.
I got a phone call and they called me and said, "We have the next Magic Johnson."
The Hawks held the 17th and 18th pick in the 2013 draft, and they were trying to keep their interest in Giannis a secret. However, one other team had their eyes set on Antetokounmpo, and on draft day, they decided to give Giannis his shot.
With the 15th pick in the 2013 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Giannis Antetokounmpo from Athens, Greece.
After years of dedication and overcoming the odds, Giannis was now in the NBA, but his work was only beginning. Giannis was 6'9", but he was also very skinny, weighing just 196 pounds when the Bucks drafted him, and while he had talent, his skill set was still raw. So the Bucks got him started on a strict workout regimen right away. But no matter how hard they had Giannis work, it seemed like they couldn't get him to gain any muscle. A staff member reported that they noticed Giannis wasn't finishing his meals, and when they asked him about it, he said he never finished his food, because he never knew when more would come. Eventually, they got Giannis's diet on point, and slowly he started seeing more and more results. But as his rookie season began, he wasn't getting many minutes. And early on in the year, he hit a new low, because on November 23, 2013, the Bucks were set to play the Charlotte Bobcats, but there was one problem for Giannis. He had no way of getting to the arena. To start the season, Giannis had been sending the entirety of his NBA paychecks to his family back in Greece, so this meant he was left with no money to get transportation to the Bucks facility. Luckily for Giannis, he is very recognizable, so when a pair of Bucks fans spotted him trying to run to the facility, they offered to give him a ride.
And I was just running. And then thank God there was a family that saw me. It was like, "Man, isn't this Giannis Antetokounmpo, the rookie Bucks?" Yeah. I said, yes, me. I said, "Take me." I go inside, like, just shaking as a kid. They took me to the game, and then the security was like,
This was just one example of Giannis' struggle of adjusting to life away from family and adjusting to the competition of the NBA. But Giannis never backs down from a challenge, and he proved it in his first NBA start. On December 18, 2013, the Milwaukee Bucks were playing the New York Knicks, and this was the first time Giannis was going to be starting in an NBA game. During this game, NBA superstar Carmelo Anthony was going off and talking trash to Giannis and his teammates. Giannis didn't like that Carmelo was bullying his teammates.
I respect him. He's one of the best players, but he can come out and start bullying my teammate, me.
So he decided to switch on to him. While the Bucks ended up losing this game, this kind of fight helped Bucks fans see who Giannis really was. At the end of his rookie season, Giannis averaged just 6.8 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 1.9 assists, and the Bucks finished with the worst record in the entire NBA. This stat line and overall rookie season performance didn't blow any NBA fans away, but Giannis did get named to the NBA Rookie Second Team and showed flashes of his potential. The Greek Freak would head into the 2014-2015 NBA season feeling like he had something to prove. Fortunately for Giannis, prior to this season starting, he was able to pay for his family to join him in America. And with his family by his side, we would see Giannis' game take a leap. Giannis again started this season coming off the bench, but that wouldn't last long, because after the first 9 games of the season, Giannis was averaging about 12 points and 5 rebounds while playing high-level defense. His play impressed then head coach Jason Kidd enough to move him to the starting lineup. Giannis continued to show big improvement during the season. One of his best performances came in a game versus the Houston Rockets, where he dropped 27 points and grabbed 15 rebounds. As his second season came to an end, we saw Giannis' stats finish at 12.7 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 2.6 assists per game. And the Bucks finished the season with a respectable 41-41 record, in large part due to Antetokounmpo's play. Jason Kidd was so impressed with Giannis throughout this season that he decided to put the ball in his hands even more the following year by moving him to point guard. During this season, Giannis and teammate Chris Middleton showed flashes of a future dynamic duo. Giannis was able to show his versatility being a 6'10 ball handler, and Middleton showed flashes of being a top-tier scorer. So Bucks fans had some hope going into the 2016 offseason. But during that summer, Giannis had to fulfill his mandatory military service for Greece, even though he had only received citizenship just 3 years prior. Despite that, Giannis's performance on the court continued to trend upwards, and in the 2016-17 season is truly when NBA fans saw him emerge into a star. Giannis started off this season showing that his game had taken yet another leap, and after the first 35 games, he was averaging 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 5.7 assists per game. One of Giannis' best moments during his hot stretch came in Madison Square Garden, because on January 4th, 2017, the Knicks and the Bucks were going head-to-head. Giannis dominated this game, scoring 27 points and grabbing 13 rebounds, but with the game near the end, the Bucks were down by 1, so Giannis decided to call game.
Antetokounmpo's got to take a shot. 2 seconds, step back jumper. Got it! Giannis Antetokounmpo at the buzzer.
This game winner by Giannis was a great play, but it was also a statement that the NBA was in trouble because the Greek Freak had arrived. At the conclusion of the 2016-17 season, Giannis averaged 22.9 points, 8.8 rebounds, 5.4 assists, 1.9 blocks, and 1.9 steals on 52% shooting. He did this all while leading the Bucks to their first winning season in 7 years. Giannis was rewarded for his performance on the court with his first All-Star appearance, his first All-NBA selection, and his first All-Defensive Team selection. On top of that, he also took home the league's Most Improved Player award. While Giannis was continuing to make his mark on the court, he battled through tough times off it. On September 29, 2017, his father, Charles Antetokounmpo, died from a heart attack at the age of 54. But despite this, Giannis would continue to persevere and improve his game. During the following year, he yet again improved his performance on the court. He ended this season averaging about 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. He also added 1.5 steals and 1.4 blocks. But despite Giannis and the Bucks improving, they were still having zero playoff success as a team. Going into the 2018 playoffs, the Bucks were the 7th seed and matched up against the 2-seeded Celtics. 2 games into the series, the Bucks were down 2-0. Giannis was putting up monster numbers, averaging 32.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 7.5 assists in those games. But the Bucks weren't playing good enough to win. While they fought back and ended up taking Boston to 7, the Celtics were just too much for them. Giannis and the Bucks got sent home after a 112-96 loss. Giannis had now played 5 seasons in the NBA and had failed to make it past the first round every single year. Going into the 2018 offseason, the Bucks replaced head coach Jason Kidd with former coach of the year Mike Budenholzer. The Bucks would also add former All-Star center Brook Lopez to their already solid core, which featured Giannis, Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, and Malcolm Brogdon. And as for our guy Giannis, he was in the gym during that summer getting huge. Giannis's hard work, combined with the team's addition of shooters, led him to having a career year. During the season, Giannis again upped his numbers, this time to 27.7 points, 12.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 1.3 steals, and 1.5 blocks, while shooting an insane 58% from the field. This performance on the court earned him his first ever MVP of the league, fulfilling the goal Kobe Bryant set for him. Giannis's emotional MVP speech paid tribute to his father.
I want to thank my dad. Obviously, my dad is not here with me, but 2 years ago, I had the goal in my head that I'm going to be the best player in the league. I'm going to do whatever it takes to help my team win, and I'm going to win the MVP. And every day that I step on the floor, I always think about my dad, and that motivates me and it pushes me to play harder and move forward. Even though when my body's sore, even though when I don't feel like playing, I always going to show up and I was going to do the right thing.
The Bucks also put together a historic season as a franchise. They ended the year winning 60 games and claiming the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. It was the first time the Bucks won 60 games since the 1980-81 season. The Bucks coasted the easy series victories against the Pacers in round 1 and the Celtics in round 2. Going into the Eastern Conference Finals, it was Milwaukee versus Toronto, and while the Bucks took a 2-0 series lead, they just weren't ready as a team to win at the highest level. They ended up losing 4 games in a row to Kawhi and the Raptors, who went on to win the 2019 NBA Championship. To make matters worse, Giannis didn't play great in those conference finals. Don't get me wrong, he still put up solid numbers, but he was outshined by Kawhi Leonard. After the series, Giannis's game was under attack. People claimed that his lack of an outside shot and the fact that he didn't have a deep scoring bag meant that he could never win a championship. Giannis was also attacked for not taking the defensive assignment of trying to guard Kawhi, despite being an all-defensive first-team player. Giannis went from fan favorite to failure, seemingly overnight, but that just motivated Giannis even more, because in the 2019-2020 season, Giannis again managed to take his game to another level. This season, he averaged 29.5 points, 13.6 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block, while shooting 55% from the field. At the end of the regular season, he won his second MVP and was also crowned Defensive Player of the Year. This put him next to NBA legends Hakeem and Michael Jordan as the only players to win both awards in the same year. However, during the 2020 playoffs, inside the NBA's bubble, Giannis and the Bucks were upset in the second round by the 6th-seeded Miami Heat. Antetokounmpo again underperformed in many critics' eyes during this series, and even more people started to doubt if Giannis would ever win a championship. However, the Bucks organization still believed in him because at the end of the 2020 season, they offered him a 5-year, $228 million Supermax extension. And in the 2020-2021 NBA season, Giannis would prove the Bucks right for believing in him and silence all of his critics. After a stellar regular season, where Giannis was again named First-Team All-NBA and First-Team All-Defense, the Bucks would enter the 2021 NBA playoffs as the 3 seed. Giannis' hard work and the Bucks' addition of Jrue Holiday made them a very dangerous team to face. In the first round, Milwaukee was matched up against the Miami Heat, the team that beat them just last playoffs. And the Bucks didn't only eliminate them, they embarrassed them, sweeping them 4-0. They had an average margin of victory of 18 points in this series, and that was only the beginning, because in the next round, they managed to sneak past the Nets in 7, with the help of Kevin Durant's big shoes. People can say what they want about this series. While the Nets were battling injuries, Giannis Antetokounmpo was special. He averaged about 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. But more importantly, he kept the Bucks' championship dreams alive. During the next series, the Bucks beat the Atlanta Hawks in 6 games. Giannis did have a scary knee injury in Game 4, but he was able to come back and be ready for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. In the finals, the Bucks went down 2-0, but like Giannis has his whole life, he managed to battle back and overcome the odds. He led Milwaukee to 4 straight wins and the franchise's first NBA championship in 50 years.
Man, I never thought, I'm going to be 26 years old, playing the NBA Finals, just playing. And, I was just happy just being a part, not even winning, just being a part of this journey, but I never thought ever when I'll be 26, I'll be sitting in this chair with this right here and this right here. Man, we've come a long way.
During all 6 games of the finals, Giannis not only played through pain, but he dominated. He put together one of the best statistical finals of all time, averaging 35.2 points, 13.2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.2 steals, and 1.8 blocks on 62% shooting. En route to those stats, he made some iconic plays like these.
Now Booker with Tucker on him, throws it up for Ayton, shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis. Phoenix has to foul, and Antetokounmpo throws it down.
In the final game of this series, he closed out the Suns by dropping 50 points. Giannis proved all the doubters wrong during this playoff run, so him being named Finals MVP was no surprise. At just 26 years old, Giannis was now a 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA selection, 4-time All-Defensive Team selection, a 2-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, a Finals MVP, and most importantly, an NBA champion. Over the last few seasons, Giannis has only continued to build his legacy. He's added 3 All-Star appearances, 3 All-NBA selections, and an All-Defensive Team selection to his resume. And recently, he brought another championship to Milwaukee. This time, though, it was the NBA Emirates Cup Championship. In the NBA Cup Finals versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, Giannis dropped 26 points, grabbed 19 rebounds, and dished out 10 assists, securing him NBA Cup MVP. Not only has Giannis continued to build his legacy on the court, but he's also been dropping wisdom to fans and critics along the way.
There's no failure in sports.
While becoming the best basketball player in the world, Giannis has also become fluent in English to where he is now giving out free philosophy lessons in post-game interviews. No matter what he has been through, or no matter what language he's speaking, Antetokounmpo has never forgotten where he's came from or the challenges he's faced that made him who he is. Giannis has said he doesn't care about being the face of the NBA, and now that we know more about his background, you can see why that is. Giannis truly just wants to be himself. However, very few players in NBA history have deserved the title, face of the NBA, as much as the Greek Freak. And you know what? If he continues producing at this rate, he may end up as a top 5 player to ever play this game.
They're legends because the number retired and the team in Greece, how my number retired. So maybe in 15 years, 20 years, maybe my number is up there.
Yeah, I don't think you need to worry about that, Giannis. Your jersey will be retired, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish during the remainder of your career.